A few years ago, Renaults were Prozac on wheels. Not anymore. In the last decade, Renault has pulled off something of a coup, transforming their image from that of manufacturers of frumpy fare to car couture. Perhaps only Fiat can boast a range as distinctive as this. In Britain, their model lineup has seen Renault almost double its market share. Motorsport, smart advertising, bold design and better build quality have played a part. But the man really credited with this renaissance is the company's dynamic head of design.
It is true that the general public does not always know what they want, and clearly when you are in a market research and you put inside a room 5 or 6 design models, different type of design models, and you invite people to give a feeling about how they feel about those designs, they will tend to choose the design which looks the most like the car that they've actually driven to the market research. David Ogilvy said many, many years ago, he said that most companies use market research like a drunkard uses a lamppost, more for support rather than illumination. I think it's still true today.
When he worked at Ford, Le Caïman was responsible for one of the boldest production cars of the 80s, the Ford Sierra, the car that launched 1,000 jelly molds. But Le Caïman feels that the soft bio style the Ford launched is on the way out. The move is towards sharper shapes. Under Le Caïman, Renault have produced some stunning show cars. This is the Initiale, their vision of tomorrow's luxury car, replete with those jelly-free razor edges. Powered by the company's Formula One V10 and equipped with everything that the luxury car buyer will come to expect in the 21st century. It's perhaps not surprising that Renault has chosen to make its boldest statement in an era of the market where they're weakest. Renault is not a brand that one associates with luxury cars. Family cars have been the company's strongest area since the launch of the 4CV back in 1946. This was the car that put France back on the road after the Second World War, and Renault celebrated its golden jubilee with its latest concept car, the 50. 50 is a mix of the fanciful and the possible. The taillights were styled to look like kites in the wind. It's the perfect car for a postmodern trip to the beach. There's even a wicker hamper tucked underneath the dampers, and more wicker in the seats and door handles. The roof is the perfect soft-top, hard-top compromise and is another one of those natty little ideas that we could easily be seeing in a Renault production car before too long. Reaction to the 50 has been more or less universally warm, except perhaps from Le Caïman, who finds himself uncomfortable with the retro style.
As a designer, I'm an optimist. I believe in the future. And the idea of looking at the future in the rearview mirror does not appeal to me. The purpose of that design was more an anniversary. Namely, it was the anniversary of 50 years of the 4 chevaux, the 4CV, which in fact had a major influence on putting France back on wheels after the Second World War. For many, many years, I fought against retro design, so clearly some people felt that I was eating my words, but that's life.
Much as I'd love to see something so original on the road, the 50 is not destined for production. But this is. It's called the Scenic, and it's the latest member of the Megane family, using the same platform as the 5-door hatch and the 2-door coupe. But instead of just squaring the hatch to create an estate, Renault has raised the roof to make a mini espace. The result is a car that for around £1,000 more than the 5-door gives enormous versatility and enough space to make its rivals look, well, somewhat pokey. Like the rest of the Megane range, the key to its styling is ovals. They're everywhere you look. Inside, the ode to the oval continues. Dash, wheel, vents, door handles, gear knob, even the holes in the steering wheel are oval. In fact, the only things that are round are the instruments. And like the rest of the dash, they're common to all the Meganes. And like them, they're well laid out, easy to use, and solidly screwed together. In fact, this car abounds with lots of good ideas. Not all of them obvious. The interior is designed to be versatile. All 3 rear seats can be moved and removed to give 4 or 5 passengers as much space as possible. And there's extra storage space under their seats and under their feet. And that middle seat has a proper belt mounted in the headlining. There's more space for bottles and the like behind the back seats. And the parcel shelf can hold 70 kilograms and can be used to form a flat load area with the rear seats.
And if you want to hold a barn dance, you can take all the seats out. And there's even more storage space too.
And wherever the Scenic went, it drew a crowd of admirers.
Chouette modèle, bien. Je sais pas comment dire, mais c'est sympa, une belle voiture.
Bah, c'est une petite voiture pratique. Plus que super.
Great driving position, there's great visibility, and it does cruise quietly. Although the engine does feel a bit harsh when you rev it, and the gear change is a little bit notchy. And obviously there's a little more roll than the Megane Ordinaire.
Others have attempted a baby MPV, but the Scenic's definitely the best mix of small and tall yet. But after the flair of the Initiale and the 50, I couldn't help feeling that the Scenic could have been a bit wilder.
The design approach for a Twingo or for a Spider or for the 50, were we to make it, is quite different than when you're doing a 5-door, I hate the term, a bread and butter sedan. We try to understand the motivation of people. And in the last few years, we have found out, for example, that some people do not want highly original designs. In fact, a lot of them would like to fade in the background. So since we're in the business, not just for pleasure, but also for making a living, then we have to listen to our customers. And basically, the one thing that I've learned over the years is to be as radical as one can be whenever it's possible, but to try to listen to the customer when it's important. And most of the time, it's important.
If you want practicality and style and out-and-out performance isn't a priority, then the Scenic is well worth waiting for. The only thing I really feel I can't live with is this colour. A radical car should have a radical colour, but apparently the French think these muted shades are frightfully chic and that strong colours are somewhat vulgar. And let's face it, they do know a thing or two about design.